it's like they have everything, everybody in their grip. So it's like your dad is telling you, please, mimi sitaki shida mingi. The elders, everybody is like this. Can you please just cut it off? Wachana na hawa watu. That's why rape and murder in this northern Kenya is rampant and nobody is being punished because immediately someone kills someone, before even the end of the day, that guy is like ashafichwa mahali. The elders will come running to your house and wanakuambia, okay, our son killed your son. Kesho your son will kill ours. So instead of asking for revenge, chukua hii person will disappear. There is no remorse actually whatsoever. Okay, our religion inakubali blood money, but not in a way like you are blackmailed. You are actually forced to take the money. So, and that's because of the clan elders. In Mandera the other day, a young lady was raped, actually a 6, 7 year old girl. Immediately, her mom wanted to ask for justice. The father was approached, he was blackmailed, he was pressured. He had to talk to the wife and tell her, if you don't stop this justice thing, I'm going to divorce you. Unaniharibia jina in front of the elders and everybody. So we have a terrible way of dealing with issues and it's affecting us. That's why in Garissa you cannot see some people demonstrating. Immediately you demonstrate, everybody, every single one is approached. And it's like a cartel actually. I can only call it a cartel because immediately those meetings and those sittings, they make money from it. If the family are given like 5 million, 2 million comes back to the elders. Actually, the person who has been put in justice cannot even see that money. So we have a serious problem. That's why when we when we see like these guys Farah Maalim and all the other Ndwale are put on the spotlight, I'm actually happy because us we are gagged. So the more you people speak about those guys, you're actually helping us. So I think I just
Yeah.
want you people to know that tuko gagged hapa sana very badly.
Thank you so much, Abdi. And so, without, I'm now just giving Mohammed, kindly mute your mic. And yeah, I'm now just giving my opinion of what you said, so I don't want you hunted down there. But the situation is such that there's a lot of gagging, and so thanks for sharing that with us. And at least those who are in the space, you've gotten the information. So it's, it's important to also question if people are coming from a region where, partly there's gagging going on. Of course, we know that there are also gagging going on in other regions. Yeah, but it's good that when such things are spoken about, because nevertheless you might need more change, but if you gag anyone internationally, the change is not very easy to come by. Thanks so much, Abdi, for dialing in. So we go to Mohammed, then Jonathan.
Thank you much. Actually, Abdi and I are neighbors. I'm from Mujia South and he's from Dadaab. We share actually, there's a small lake that divides us. Our constituencies are actually adjacent to each other. So, and my MP, like Abdis, also voted for the punitive bill that started all this. So they are actually both with the establishment. And I was going to say something different, but now that Abdi has has started something, I think I feel I have to follow up. I keep saying this is our movement is not about Ruto. We have 60 years of poor governance in Kenya. Northeastern province today, if you go, we have actually for years been complaining about marginalization, this that. Maybe yes, to some extent there was, but look at the statistics since Kibaki came, since the new constitution, since 2013, every year the county governments we get billions from the national government, and then every constituency gets CDF. So and every 5 years it actually totals around 600 million per constituency. And then there's also other funds that come from the national government in terms of roads, other developments. But go to Northeast today. Hakka Mungu utafikiri there have been no government here for 60 years. Do you know the reason is? You cannot blame the national government. You cannot say imagine it. It's our leaders. These guys here, Kina Duale, Kina Farahs, the Director General of NSIS, his dad, who was a senator for a long time, who was in politics for a long time. There are actually two levels. They only live in Nairobi, do their politics in Nairobi, go there during the campaign to buy votes. The people of Northern Province are extremely poor. Northern is one of the poorest places in in Kenya. But in Nairobi, you will find people say, okay, Somalis wako na pesa. Those are few guys, very few guys, the ultra rich, that actually controls the politics. But huko nyumbani, people are extremely poor. So that's why it's necessary that we get our messaging correct. This is actually it's a movement for better Kenya. It's not just Ruto. Ruto is not the cause of our problem. He's just the symptom of it. The guy is there only 2 years. So we are not targeting Ruto. We are actually crying about poor governance. We just need this to end. He only became the unlucky man in the office when this revolution erupted. He made it possible. He exacerbated it, but actually he's not the cause of the 60 years problems that we have. That's in response to Abdi's point. Uh, Maj, I was actually in another space this evening before you started this. Uh, it looks like most of the spaces they actually moved away from discussing uh, the cabinet appointments of Ruto today. They're actually in the mode of actually planning for the demos on Tuesday. So I think we made so much analysis, so much commentary has been made unanimously. All the move actually looks like the people are actually more united now that he did this. The feeling is actually people are more angry that he's actually added fuel to the fire now. So the guys were actually suggesting there was actually a very elaborate plan discussed in one of the spaces that had close to 1,000 guys. The plan is to occupy expressway peacefully, just sit in next to the block it, make sure nobody can get out of the airport and nobody can come in. There was also other plans for the State House. So I think we should transition now from commentary and discussion about what Ruto's decision was to what we can do about it going forward. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mohammed. I really
Can I add one thing, please?
just a moment, Abdi. So I really understand your sentiment. Nevertheless, today we're going to discuss if Ruto missed that opportunity or not. And of course, have people share that spaces that are having different topics. But as we also have learned, there are also, and I warned about this even before it happened, there is a space that was really tightly in the hands of DCI. That really, when I got that information, I couldn't go out with it directly because I did not want to discredit the person in the event that the person is under duress. Sometimes you will be under duress and they're doing that thing. But later, as you would have seen, it just turned out that the person is working for whatever the case. So spaces will be out there, plans are going to be made out there, but I just want to warn that not everyone who's screaming and saying let's do this is really for that idea. There do it because you want to do it. Don't follow people blindly. Some of them you're following them, and yet they're sitting with other people, or they're even forwarding your text somewhere else. So in that, Mohammed, is my analysis, because actually if you I don't know if you were following me before, I was really very active in other spaces. I've reduced that because as it is now, you cannot tell apart who's real and who's not real. So that's why I'm urging people, because I know God gave everyone the ability to think. So let's think and let's do the right thing. And when people are thinking and thinking and doing a, you will find, and I want to have independent thinkers. I do not want people who are saying I'm doing this because Marge is saying it, or Mohammed is saying it. So that is the direction I want to take. And I have to say, we have a very brilliant population out there. We have thinkers out there. Let them think. When continue thinking, and when the constitutionally elected or declared president wants to deal with the issues, then he should realize that he's dealing with his people and not any leader behind it. So that's it. So the plannings here, and let's do that and let's do that. And, when you're planning also publicly, there are other people who are listening with you, and also public. So I understand the emotions, but I just wanted to put out there that those are things that can be done, yes, but will need to be done, very carefully. So that having been said, I think Jonathan go, then Apollo is next, and then next, or Abdi, did you just want to chime in shortly? Okay, Abdi, just go shortly, and then Jonathan, then Apollo. Okay, Jonathan.
Yes, thank you, Maj. So I'll just quickly reiterate on what Abdi and Mohammed had mentioned. It's really unfortunate the situation that's going up, in the northern parts of the country. When I heard the speech from, Farah Malim, uh, with him saying how he was, first elected in '92, and he can always um, run and get reelected whenever he wishes. The our fellow citizens up north almost seem like they're under some sort of colonization of sorts, um, and even under normal circumstances when we're running our normal elections, um, I tend to know that there's some aspects of negotiated, they call it negotiated, democracy or something of the sort, where I think it's a bunch of people who just meet and agree who's going to be representing the masses, which shouldn't really be the case in this kind of setup where it should be open for everyone to go and vote. But this speaks to where we are at as a country. What we are seeing currently is politicians doing what they do best. This is their default setting. Um, Maju rightfully asked the question as to whether the remaining slots in government would be going to Azimio. I don't really want to call that opposition because, as we know, there really isn't any opposition currently in this country. Uh, the oppositional movement that has started is the Gen Z, or rather, I don't even want to call it Gen Z. I just want to put it as the political class, who are the ruling class, whichever faction they're coming from, versus the rest of Kenyans, who really are the opposition currently. And what we are currently seeing is an arrangement whereby the political class are trying to, have their interest in place under whatever configurations. We know all these people from back in the day, under whatever configurations. We've seen their faces all through the history of this country. And in as much as the faction from Kalonzo versus Raila, and all these discussions around not joining the conversations, we know that these are just gimmicks whereby they're just all trying to secure their interest. Now, Marge, I think what's more important, which Mohammed rightfully pointed out, is the narrative has to move to how do we also, as the remaining lot, try to secure our interest, which is getting rid of all these traditional politicians and getting a new breed of professional, accountable people into these offices. I foresee a situation whereby even the next, because at this point in time, I hear people talking of there's nothing much we can do. Perhaps we should just wait for Ruto to finish his term and then vote him out. But what I need to bring out very clearly is that this is not going to happen. Um, we're dealing with somebody who sets his strategies very early in the day, and I foresee a situation whereby there will be a suppression in even the voter registrations. At this point in time, he knows very well what our strengths are. He knows very well that we have the numbers. He knows very well that we are tribeless, we are leaderless, and we can actually leverage technology to our advantage. And so I know that going forward, the government will want to come up with tactics to, push back on all these gains and all these trends that might work to their, disadvantage. So, Marge, I think it will be very, very important. We are on a very slim window of opportunity here, such that if we lose this movement and if we lose the gains and the sacrifices that have been made to get us to where we are today, uh, we will be dealing with a system that will be even be more, empowered and now strategic to push back. And this is a generational thing. We're not talking even now about Ruto as a person. We're talking of the political class, because, like I've had in discussions, assuming Ruto goes today, then constitutionally, supposedly, Gashaga will be coming in, and we don't know the kind of person that he is. Judging by everything that's been going on, it would be fair to assume that it will even be a worse situation than what we are currently dealing with. So I think, Marge, just like Mohammed pointed out, we really need to strategize and focus on how we push so that we don't lose this movement and it doesn't get hijacked with the politicians, because seemingly that's what they're focusing on. Back to you, Marge.
Thanks, Jonathan. Yes, the push on the next step is very towards the right, let's say the right or one direction. So that's what I was pointing at there. But nevertheless, you can proceed. The next speakers, you can proceed to point out what you want to do, or people are pushing back. I mean, I'm a very liberal person, but just want to share that. Sharing your plans openly is not exactly helpful. Apple, I keep adding you and you keep dropping. Let's see if you can speak because you are next. And after Apollo, I see Victor, your hands are up, but let's have.
Before Apple joins, can I say something, Maj? A little bit, a small comment.
Yes, but just 30 seconds because the others are waiting.
Yeah, I don't think that is seconds enough. Okay, I understand your point about the strategy, but Maj, what you have to understand, our demands are public, they are known by everybody, and our actions are also public. We are meeting in public spaces. We're getting classified document or try to investigate GKA or something like that. In terms of actually meeting places, these are some of the places we actually need to be very, very public about it. Our messaging has to be very, very clear. That's all I was trying to say. We should focus now going forward on consistent messaging, action. Enough of commentary. We actually it's not only this space. You are right. We should try and limit, but it's actually things got so tense now that you can't even help yourself but just join those other spaces. I will try, but there are too many spaces open, and people are actually people are so angry, and they're actually saying, okay, let's actually meet in the street, the mother of all demos. Saying that alone isn't actually something that's actually going to be leak out or information or anything. It's actually public information. Our demands are public, and the place we're meeting is public places, and what we're asking for is something known. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. We proceed to Apollo.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Try
Good
to
morning. Try
proceed.
to proceed. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Maj. Okay, mine too is to say we should not relent based on our mission as Kenyans. Let me say this. As you can, those people who watch Citizen TV for the previous days, for instance, there's a guy who was killed in Kitengela, 2 people. Then these 2 people were taken to city mortuary, and all of a sudden the recordings from the city mortuary were saying they were brought from Juja through road accident. Now, what I'm saying, this government there is nothing we'll get from them, which is something which is unique. And even to answer your question, where you said, did it make the nominees? Did it make our? Was it certifying our as we were expecting? Like the previous time, Mr. President said he will not. The government will not hire somebody who is above 60 years. And from the nominees, there are people who are more than 60. And how can you hire somebody? Who can you restrain somebody? Then
Did we lose Apollo? Can you guys hear him?
No?
Yeah. Can you hear Apollo?
On the call. I'm not able to hear him.
Okay. So let's proceed to Suguroi as we wait for Apollo to finish his phone call. Okay, Apollo, we can hear you now. Can you finalize then? I think a call interrupted you. Okay. Suguroi, if you cannot hear me, Victor will no Frederick and then Victor. Frederick, go. Frederick, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Give me 3 minutes. I'm doing something.
But
Yeah.
okay, but you see now you cannot block the mic for the 3 minutes. But Victor, take a go.
Hello, I hope everyone can hear me. About this guy called Farah Malim, he's very arrogant simply because Kenya passed a certain law in 2021 allowing, I think, refugees to come to Kenya. And I think Ade Duale is in charge and actually brings people to Kenya as refugees, and these people are being given IDs, making Farah Malim somebody who is very arrogant, and actually defeating him in his constituents is very hard because with with the refugees coming to his constituency and being given IDs, Ade Duale, I think, instruct the guys who are coming to support
Bro, please stop with this ignorant profiling, bro. It's not true. Express yourself.
Mohammed,
Please,
Mohammed,
it's not true.
Mohammed,
Yeah.
kindly let him finish speaking. Then you can debunk what is not right. You cannot just interfere when he is speaking. And of course, I would like to encourage people when you're speaking, please present things that have facts, because otherwise you will be put on the spot for defamation. So, Victor, kindly proceed.
Yeah, there is a law in Kenya that was passed by a parliament in 2021 about refugees coming to Kenya. And the more the refugees in Kenya, the more the amount of money Kenya will get. That's a fact for sure. So I think the refugees who are coming to Kenya are increasing in number. Thus, Kenya getting more income through refugees. And I think it is in the record that these refugees are actually being given ID, Kenyan ID, and for that they are registered voters, eligible voters. I think to me that makes the likes of Ade Duale and Farah Malim very good investment to the president, and thus he cannot do away with them. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Victor, for sharing that. Mohammed, can you get 1 minute to rebut, and then we go to energy and then Odongo? Go on, Mohammed.
Thank you, Maj. I thought you were giving to another person.
Between
Okay.
them made their kiss feel familiar
Okay.
and new all at once. As if Zoe was kissing Blaine for the first time.
Who's that?
Dreams where they met and reunited and kissed each other with wet.
Can you mute him, Marge? Who's that?
I've actually removed him from the speaker panel because I tried to mute him and it
Okay.
wasn't possible. So
Thank you.
we have cases of people trying to interfere with spaces, so that will be one
Okay.
of them. So
Okay.
go on, Mohammed.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to correct, guys. There's a easy way when we have issues like this and discussion matters of national discourse to easily profile a community. We, Abdi and I spoke. We clearly spoke about the issues we, us in Western Province have with our leaders. Uh, you guys also have in all counties have challenges with their leaders, okay? But whenever the leader is actually Somali, the card that's always used is, oh, they are refugees, they are Al-Shabaab. He said he's arrogant because he's bringing voters from Somalia and then he's getting votes. It's not true. The guy actually went to parliament in 1990, but was voted out. 1992, he went to the parliament the first time in 1992, and he stayed out of parliament up to 2013. He then served one term and lost out again. Then the next time he got back to parliament was this year. So even the information Farid is sharing that I've been in parliament since 1992 is not actually correct. And there is no evidence that he's getting help from refugees. We are Kenyan citizens. So please, there are people who are actually meddling narratives now that Gen Z is actually driven by Kikuyus. We need to stop profiling these issues about tribe and think as Kenyans for once. That's why these politicians and the political establishment in Kenya is taking advantage of us, because it's very easy for them to use these cards against each other. Hanifa now, this who's actually doing all this Gen Z work, she's been attacked, profiled day in and day out. She's been called Al Shabaab, go back to Somalia, and people who are Gen Z's, her age mates, her fellow Kenyans, are actually who are part of the movement are doing this to her. So please, we need to actually see the bigger picture. We stop these narratives of profiling certain communities for political reasons. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. I would like to really chime in there. And when we don't have open and transparent discussions, that is when we have these interpretations, left, right, and center, and profiling also. Now, there's one aspect. There is Kenyan Somali as a tribe. Then there are actually Somalis coming into Kenya who are not really Kenyan Somali, but Somalis. Then there are Kenyan Somalis who actually cannot declare their allegiance to Kenya. And this becomes a problem, and it's a problem we cannot talk away and say. Of course, it becomes profiling when somebody says, okay, Mohammed, you are a Kenyan Somali, are you really a Kenyan? But we also have to deal with Kenyan Somalis who actually are Kenyans when things are good, but when things are not good, they're suddenly Somali. And when we're talking about this issue, we have to also transparently say that at the moment, there's a lot of political turmoil going on in the Somali region, which people are using. In fact, if they see you into this space, I'm telling you this now, you might get a backlash, because there's somebody who's a Kenyan Somali came to the space, really got a backlash from the Somalis. Said the same. So why are they now Somali, or are they now Kenyan? So that is something that we cannot wish away. We just need to discuss it objectively. Now, the point where I come to agree with Victor, and this is what is eating us up, whether Somali, whether not Somali, whether not corruption. Mohammed, can you please mute your mic? Corruption. It is very easy to buy an ID in Kenya, whether you're Somali, whether you're Indian, whether you're what, that is a fact. So when corruption has taken a country to an extent where, of course, there's the right procedure of if somebody is a refugee, how long they could take, those are in books, but the ground shows something different. So this is something that is happening, and is not only happening with the Somali community, the Kenyan Somali community, it's also happening with the Indian community. And I will tell you, I have Indian friends in Kenya who, to me, I thought were actually Kenyans, until you talk to them on phone and they're finishing their phone calls and they say, yes, I'm sorry, I need to go and meet somebody from the locals. And you're like, excuse me, the locals? Which locals are you talking about? Because these are people who their grandfathers were born even in Kenya. So of course, there's a chance that if somebody talks about this, then it becomes an issue. And another thing, it's corruption once again. There is a tribe called Hindu or India in Kenya. That was Uhuru giving these people, you buy, you can even buy. Go honestly, Mohammed. You, if you go to India as a Kenyan Somali, they will never give you the tribe Kenya Somali in India or something like that. So corruption is what is bringing us in here. And when you get back to the topic of why some of these people cannot be reinstated is because they have huge influence. How they have this huge influence, we might not really 100% say this is it, but you and your colleague who's your neighbor also pointed out the clanism that making them not be defied. That is one. Another thing, it's the money that people bring. So these things are there, and it's up to the government to clarify and to communicate clearly so that the citizens can know that we are in the right direction. And if there's a rumor coming up, it's up to the government to show that this is not the case. With that, Frederick, are you now ready?
But Maj, there's something I need to correct, please. I wouldn't take long. You said there are Kenyan Somalis who actually cannot openly declare their allegiance to Kenya. I don't know if you have any scientific data to back that up. That I haven't had that at all.
Mohammed,
Let me finish.
the last time we had a space speaking on Kenya, there was a Kenyan Somali who's actually Kenyan and came on and started complaining about how the Somali candidate for AU is being sidelined. And now, and Ruto has now pushed Raila to the front, and they even brought in Djibouti and the
I was
Somali.
there. I was there in
Hold
that
on,
call.
yes,
I
but
was
let me
there in that
speak
call.
now.
It was the lady.
Can you?
It was the lady
Okay,
from the UK.
okay.
The lady
Can
from
you
the UK,
please,
right?
Mohammed? I'm going to mute you now if you cannot let me speak. Should I mute you?
No, no.
Can you let me finish my point?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, I
Yeah.
was
So
just
what I'm
reminding you the
let
lady who
me
said and that.
I don't want people being profiled. You're going to be profiled next. So let me, when I don't mention names, I know why I'm not mentioning these names. So when we have a topic that's clearly Kenyan, and somebody, and a few people who claim to be Kenyans, they're Kenyan Somali, but all of a sudden they're coming to a space to defend a Somali candidate, a Kenyan who's patriotic. That topic is gonna be secondary. You know, it is gonna be secondary, and that is why my response was: we're having a presidency. At the moment, we have issues. If we do not have issues with the president, we want a street smart president who's going to knock out Somali candidate, who's going to knock out Djibouti candidate. And this is how some of these people out themselves. Because really, if people are discussing Kenya, how do you come and start talking about Somali AU candidacy? Yes. So the last minute, Mohammed, and then we root down back to the topic. Yeah.
Okay, thank you much. I happened to be actually on the call that day. I had that conversation. I wouldn't identify the person, but what the person was referring to was that Ruto and Raila actually connected in more ways than we know, and they are danger to us. That was the concept, the reason she was saying this. I don't think it was anything to do with being Somali. That's that. The issue about Kenyan Somalis not actually publicly declaring allegiance to Kenya is also not true. The opinion of one person, even though that was not the case, does not actually wrap us on all of us. We are millions of us. So please, it's not also good that you actually base your opinion on just on a call of one person, what one person shared, which was actually not the case. I was there on the call that day. So uh, again, coming back, we need to look at the bigger picture. Yes, you mentioned corruption. It's actually affecting everywhere in Kenya. Every community in Kenya is being affected by corruption. The president, who is a Kalenjin, look at Kalenjin children crying because of the scholarship scandal and the millions they lost. Are they Somalis? Are they refugees? No, they're not. Everyone in Kenya is suffering because of corruption. It's not peculiar to Northeastern province. And the point Abdi made was that, being called, whenever you try to speak, it had no reference to being a Kenyan Somali. It was actually the politicians he was saying are powerful, that if you speak out publicly, they look for your father and tell him, ongea kijana yako ananitusi, ananaibusha. It was not like ongea kijana yako anaongea mambo inahusu Kenya na sisi ni wa Somali. It was not like that. So you misunderstood there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And moving forward, as we go to the next speaker, if any politicians in Kenya come together and they're deeply connected for the good of Kenya and they're not corrupt, we support. I'm in support of Kenya. So we put the republic first. So even if people are coming to tell us how deep they are together, they should be. That is what the leaders should be, to put the interest of Kenya first. So in this discussion surrounding Kenya, I would like to really underline that the interests that we're looking into at the moment first are Kenyan interests. I think, Geoffrey, hold on a little. Frederick, are you now ready? Then you go to Odongo.
Yes, I am ready. Can you
Yes.
hear me? Thank you very much. Okay. I just want to go straight away to the topic of today. Did Ruto miss the opportunity to uniting Kenya through nominees? According to me and what I see, he really missed this opportunity. Why? Because we have been doing the demonstration of bad leadership, of tribalism. But when you see that list yesterday that the president read there, it is just the same people, 6 people. He's bringing them back. So and no youth. You see, it was really confusing. But that means that this person is not listening to people, or is listening to people but is not understanding, because there's listening and understanding. But now he has proven to us that is acting in the spirit of Pharaoh, where uh, where you use hypocritical things, you don't listen to people until and if you don't fight, if people sit back, then the country will be taken. Because as you see, they are uniting. But here, our main enemies, first of all, they are the people who call themselves the church leaders, because they are the people, instead of them concentrating in doing their affairs in church, they are coming to the government. Well, even if we read the Bible, to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, the church has nothing to do with the state. The main function of the church is to save souls, to take people to heaven. But here you see them coming in and now trying to enter in the affairs of the state. I will take one example by the president, one of the presidents who was here in Africa, the president of Congo. That was the former president Mobutu. When the church leaders, they wanted to enter into his affairs, he told them it does not belong to you. He told those people, those church members, to stay away from matters concerning the state. So we, the youth, we must fight. But now we have to come up with a strategy. If that one did not work, now we must find the weak point of the government, so that we can quickly overpower the government. For example, when the mandamano are being done, uh, you can see there are other people who are being, for example, here where I stay here in Gidurai, there are people, there are politicians who are hiring people. They are hiring goons. For example, after the mandamano, the one on Tuesday, even at night, there are some places that you could not pass. They were coming even at the door, at the gate. They are knocking. They were goons trying to take everything. Those who are not the Gen Zs. And I told the neighbors that those people are thieves that we see. They take the opportunity. They have been hired to do that thing. So we must stay focused. And our main enemy that we are fighting here is Ruto must go. And last, before I finish, when you see bad leadership and you see the president is behaving like that, that is showing that we are still in what we call neo-colonialism. The West are still colonizing Africa, because the West, those who are Zungus, they just want Africans, the people, the poor, to be poor, so that we can go and work in their farms. And that's what they are trying to do and to impose leaders on us. And if we are not careful, the man is planning on how to get back to power in 2027. And if we don't plan well, then we will fail. I think I will stop at that point now.
Thank you so much, Frederick. Let's moving forward take 3 minutes each because there are still more requests on for the mic. Odongo, back over to you. Jeffrey, I've seen your hand. I'll come back to you after. Let me give the chance to those who haven't yet spoken, and then you can rebut. Odongo.
Good morning. Are you hearing? Hello.
Yes, Odongo, go ahead.
I want to go straight to the point whether Ruto missed the opportunity to unite Kenya and take us back to the path that we wanted and the reason as to why people were demonstrating. I want to say there, Ruto scored 0 or an E, because if I assault the cabinet due to incompetency, and he told us he was going to look for better Kenyans to come and lead us. But now what we are seeing, Ruto went back to where he was in 2017 campaigning, to the demands of the Mount Kenya people, so-called Kikuyus. That Mutai Kahiga, for instance, says that 8 ministries should be given to Mount Kenyan people. And we are seeing that out of 11, I think 11, 12, 6 of them are from Mount Kenya. And leave alone that. In our agitation for the change, we say no tribe, no leadership, whatever. What we were agitating for was change and competency and integrity of the chapter 6 of the Constitution. Ruto is coming back with the political failures like Alice Waomi. Are you getting me? Aden Duale. The Sanpali, who cannot even address or express anything. Because they are so close. So Ruto is rewarding political failures and these aliens and paying those people with our taxes. We are not going to allow this. Are you getting me? Point number 2. I think it's high time now, Kenya, we need to rise up and stop this, because now monkeys are regrouping again and our maize plantation are in danger. Are you getting me? You can see the whole faces. Those people who have been chased are getting back. They think now it will be business as usual. That's point number 2. We need to rise up and do whatever necessary, whether occupying airport, occupying where, and Ruto has to go, because this is the total abuse. You cannot chase these people telling us you are going to bring a competent Kenya. Out of 60-something million, you are again coming with the same people, the same political failures. We are not going to allow you to reward your political failures for 2027 interest, like that one of Raila Odinga, with our taxes. That's number 2. Number 3. I now want to see what Raila Odinga is going to say on this, because Raila Odinga have been agitating for change and good governance. We want to hear Raila Odinga today what he's going to say. He said Kindiki is incompetent and the entire government is full of incompetency, and that these people should be chased and go home so that we can bring the new face of Kenya. We are not interested in tribe. Whether you bring the entire cabinets are Kikuyu, but we want Kikuyu who are in intelligence, Kikuyu who have got integrity, who serve the chapter 6 of our constitution. Now, Raila is also had a list of his people, and he is still hiding with those lists, which is full of incompetent individuals like John Mbadi, Yunet Mohammed, someone who have been rejected even in his own constituency. He cannot even go back. So we are waiting Raila Odinga today to come with this list as well, because he says his brother reiterated Oburu Odinga that even if the Azimio will not join this coalition, they will go as ODM. We want to see Raila Odinga and this Oburu Odinga brother joining this fake coalition of William Ruto, of this fake coalition of William Ruto today and the ministers they are going to bring as well, whether they are incompetent or it is full of political rewards, like Unet Mohamed or Paranya and what have you, like the Joe. So we are saying this, please, when I'm making my final remarks. It is high time that we stop this ethnic profiling because these people, the fight for change was not for Luos, it was not for Kikuyus. We wanted a good governance, whether you are from Purukana, whether you are from Pokot. Now they are now taking back to ethnics that this the fight is for Kikuyu. The fight is for what? The bill, if the bill could have passed, it was it that only Kikuyu would have been paying those nini? Everyone. So we need to go back and ask ourselves. Now it is high time. Kenya belongs to us, not to politicians. We stop the ethnic profiling that, oh, it is this tribe or it is that tribe, the Somali tribe, this Abidi. It is a deal of divide and rule. So we are not going to allow, oh, it is a Somali people coming to Kenya and doing this. It is nonsense. We need to take the bull by its horn and say what is wrong is wrong and what is good is good. Are you getting me? So we need to rise up, and take back Kenya. I think I'm done.
Yes, thank you so much, Odongo, for your submissions. Of course, in appointments, there should be diversity, and there are also marginalized communities that should also be taken into consideration. And
Yes.
so, when that is done by any government, then of course people do not feel left out. Another thing that the tribalism, of course, corruption has been the leading cause, but tribalism has also been another one where, in fact, when the Gen Zs came out there and said we are tribalists,
Yes.
you could see how the leaders, when they came out again, they were trying to divide according to tribal lines, where people are saying, "Oh, if you are supporting Odinga, Raila, you're not going out, or this tribe should not go and
Yes.
demonstrate." The other one, we're talking about the mountain. When you talk about the mountain, you have to consider, one cannot talk about a tribe and want to put everyone in that
Yes.
thing, because for example, when there were floods, the floods did not choose the tribe, so the Gen Zs and the millennials who were out were tribeless, but the people who have interest in the cabinet and whatever positions came out clearly to start saying that to have some tribal divisions. So I'd like to encourage everyone, please do not allow yourself to be divided along tribal lines, because by the end of the day, today, if we even start doing random DNAs, some of you would think that tribe A might end up very surprised to find out that they are from what is it called here, Igbo tribe of Nigeria. You might find you are Ghanaian. So guys, let's just have the Kenyan spirit. You know that, stop laughing. It's true. So let's have the Kenyan spirits and look at our needs and push through for them. Dr. AJ and then Fred Mokua in that order.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah, now thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to also give out my 2 cents on the same. It is very clear and true that Mr. Ruto didn't consider the fact that not only Gen Zs, but many Kenyans were in the street for the reckless and incompetence levels that we have been able to witness since the last elections. And so that means that as Kenyans, we have to now forge a way forward to uphold the rule of law, because Article